I only got like $800, and these guys are just really just on me bad about this stuff. And I showed him some photos and stuff of what I do with, me with famous people and stuff. And he said, "Tell you what, I got some repair jobs back here that I've paid for, and I just don't have them in one banjo, but I'll put together an authentic Gibson out of a 67 and a 74 banjo, and it'll be an authentic Gibson master tone, and I'm a qualified guy and everything." And I was just like, man, I just could not believe it. And gave it to me as a gift. Well, $800. And usually, I think at that time they were $1,200 and something.
Back in '81.
Man, then after that, man, all them guys seemed to respect me. I didn't play any different,
That's funny.
But boy, it sure did sound good, and I understand why they wanted that master tone sound.
Well, I understand too. They are magical.
Yeah, there's just something about them. When you don't really understand until you play one, and then once you've played one, you're just like, there's not another banjo you could play.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're like that.
Yeah.
And Gibson actually put a custom neck on it in Nashville when I worked for Opryland. I had broken the headstock off, and I think his name was Sam Calvert, used to work in your Gibson custom department. I don't know if y'all still have the custom area, but they offered to put it on there in exchange for me advertising when I did shows at Opryland and stuff about the custom area.
I don't actually work for Gibson. I mean, I'm contracted by Gibson to do that. I don't. But their banjo custom shop is actually at Opera Mills inside of the massive shopping area
complex,
that kind of replaced Operaland when they tore that down.
Oh, no, it was a sad day for me, man.
No kidding. I mean, that was, I don't know,
Well, I made a lot of money as a musician there. As a banjo player, it's really hard to find work. And they took me on, and I think I did 10 years there, mostly in a hotel for convention services. And I never thought in my life there would ever be a commercial job open for a banjo player. And it was pretty neat. Now, I wasn't really into all the rides and all that, out there, but the music aspect was unbelievable.
That's right. Well, when did you get into? I mean, in real life, when did you get into music? And was it the banjo your first instrument, or?
No, actually, the piano was. My mom's a pianist and a piano teacher, and my dad built a piano studio in our basement for my mom to teach him with a couple of Yamaha uprights, a Hammond organ, a Leslie cabinet, and a grand piano. So I cannot ever remember not hearing music. My whole life, even if I wasn't taking piano lessons, I was hearing the piano constantly, and I've heard everything from Tchaikovsky to Mozart to Amadeus and Beethoven, you name it, composers I can't even pronounce right now.
Right.
And so I grew up like that. And I think when I was probably 11 years old, 12 years old, my mom's side of the family were all coal miners.
Okay.
And
so you grew up in Kentucky?
City.
You grew up in
one
Kentucky?
of my uncles, we go visit them all in the coal mines, in Central City, Kentucky, Pikeville and all that. And one of my uncles had a banjo, and he passed away in a mining accident. And apparently when I was a kid, he'd see me playing on it, So he left it to me in his will. And I think I was 11 years old when I majorly started picking the banjo. Of course, through high school, I was marching band. I played trombone. And that was like a high school thing, but I haven't played it professionally.
Right.
Or nothing like that.
So when you picked up the banjo, did you pick it up by ear? Do you play by ear? Is that the way you play, or do you play with music or both?
I can read music. It's a combination of the two. Right. From having taken piano lessons, and I mean, one of the first jobs I ever had when I was a kid was I had to turn to sheet music for my mom, and while she played the organ in a Baptist church. So I had to be able to read the measures to know when to turn the page. And so I know how to read and all that, but it was something that, like, I was exposed to every instrument as a kid. So when I go to the hills to visit my family with my parents, they would play the banjo, and there wasn't no recording or no band. It was things they had memorized. It wasn't no sheet music or anything.
Right.
And it just somehow stuck in my soul somehow. I come back to Louisville, and I could still remember those songs. And And so when I finally got that banjo, man, I just tried to play everything I could remember from the relatives and my grandfather hearing him watch the Grand Ole Opry shows on Saturday on WHAS Channel 11 down here. And somehow it just got into me. And the music aspect is more or less now in reverse. I'm trying to take the things I know and write them down to preserve them.
Right.
So it was kind of both. I think there was a lot of involvement, too, with a piano tuner that we used to have. A blind guy used to come by and tune our pianos. And he was the first person I'd ever knew as a child that didn't need to read sheet music. And when he would tune with what they call differential. He would be able to strike, say, a C note and tune a B or a B flat from the difference of the vibration.
The wavering of the harmonics, yeah.
Yeah, and as a kid, I picked that up, and I started understanding that music was more than just something you could read, although that is a great thing to do. There's something else that's inside, I think, of all human beings that allows us to create and be something, a way of projecting something that we are. And I think I went into that with the banjo more than the other way of being able to reproduce something.
Right. And I think in banjo, too, you got guitar or banjo tablature, which probably is a little more prevalent.
What they call a linear instrument because the high string is on the top, and it makes it very difficult to read the sheet music because you're not. Whereas a guitar or violin, you can go from low string to high string. Right. On a banjo, the high string's on the top and the low one's next to it. So it really messes you up when you're trying to sheet read. Exactly. But the tablature is a main way of preserving onto paper how to play and everything.
Right. Well, Cosmic, we were. I'm sure the audience here is dying to hear some of your music, as I am. I wanted to ask, do you have original compositions that you do, or is everything traditional, or how is that?
I do originals. I've been writing originals for, I guess, a couple of years now. I got into a hippie band a couple of years ago, and they exposed me to the original aspect of just being able to jam 20, 30 minutes, like fish or leftover salmon. And really opened my mind up to stuff that I remember as a kid, like, composers my mom would play on the piano. And I kind of fused the two. If you'd like, I'll do two of them tonight.
Yeah. And, or maybe do one traditional and a couple originals. We've got, this is on Real Radio, so it cuts off at the top of the hour. So, you can play 12 minutes or so if you want, and then we can come back and play talk a couple minutes after that. But, do you want to give us a little introduction on what you might play? Or?
Sure, I'll do a traditional number. Let's see, I could do, Cluck Ode Hen, and then I'll do one I wrote called Nebula. Is that good enough?
Yeah, that'll be fine. Whatever you feel like playing.
Cool. So I stream this to you now?
Yeah, you can stream it to me now.